morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Walker Aviation Museum, Robert Sherman back with us. Morning, sir. How you doing today?
I'm okay. Hanging in there.
Doing good. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good.
Good. Did y'all go out of town or just have a little thing
Went
here
across
with
the street with some neighbors.
Wow. So quite the trek.
Yeah. I got a neighbor that's a great neighbor, and he enjoys cooking, so we took the drinks over, all kinds of different iced teas and fruit juices for the kids. And
made a little celebration there.
Yeah.
So, well, that'd be nice.
We had a good time.
Yeah, was there enough to take home a few leftovers?
Yes.
Good. That's the important part.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, for folks that aren't familiar, the Walker Aviation Museum, which is located in the air terminal at the airport there, is a museum that dedicates itself to exposing the history of the Air Force Base. They call that area home, Roswell Army Airfield, and then Walker Air Force Base. Also covers our role in the Cold War era, the missile silos that littered this part of the country during the Cold War era. They also share the history of that too. So. It's really cool. So hopefully folks have seen it at least once or twice. But if you haven't, I invite you to go check it out sometime. So
yeah, we are right now, just like we have for the last month or two, try to be open Monday through Saturday for about 2.5 hours at least prior to the midday plane departure.
Gotcha.
Right now it's departing around 10 minutes till 1 in the afternoon, so we're open about 11:30 or so.
Okay.
Until about 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And but so we get the people that are coming in from Dallas that are returning. Once the plane lands, about 30 minutes. By that time, the people that are getting ready to depart are already checked through TSA and they're waiting to board the aircraft. Mm-hmm. So we get that group initially, and then the last few minutes before that we're open. Until the whole terminal clears out.
Right.
There's no reason to stay open at that time. But we do that. So we had several things that be interesting we want to talk about today. Had some improvements made to the museum.
Oh, yeah.
And we also, Juliana Halverson, better known by us as the Energizer Bunny, she...
City councilor.
She put city councilor, all kinds of stuff. IT marketing person for us. Anyway, she put a lot of stuff on our website. So I want to let people know they have really good access just by going to wafbmuseum.org.
Very good.
And clicking on education.
Okay.
And if you do it on the cell phone, the picture is a little bit different on your smartphone than it is on a big computer.
Sure, they lay it out a little different.
But you can get there and you open up your cell phone and you got these little bars up at the top and right corner, I think, and you click on that and you get a choice of education, so you can click on that.
Okay. So the menu's a little different on the mobile version than if you go on a laptop or computer or whatever.
And we recently sent out, and I'll talk about that, some emails to lots of different educational folks in town. First email went out to about, it was 26 different addresses. The 7 principals of the 4 middle schools here in town, and as far as the Roswell Independent School District, and then 19 counselors that are involved with the schools, Roswell Independent School District. So we sent out this email that had an attachment of about 21 pages of reference stuff that sometimes we pass out to the teachers or pass out to the students when they come visit us for a 3-hour flight simulator career orientation program that we have. But now that is all on the website.
Okay.
And we are encouraging people just to use that information any way they want to, and that's why we send it out to the schools. And not only did we send that to Roswell Independent School District, then on Saturday, the 3rd of December, I sent out an email that went out to Sidney Gutierrez Middle School, Gateway Middle School and High School, Emmanuel Lutheran Middle School, New Mexico Youth Challenge, NIMI Dean of Academics, Roswell Assurance Home, Hagerman Middle School and High School, Dexter Middle School and High School, and the Superintendent of Schools in Artesia.
Oh, wow.
So they got all that information. But along with that, we said, hey, okay, this is good information here. You can pass this on, print it out, use it any way you want to help you do your job. Because if you're a counselor working with the kids, you might be able to say, hey, I'll take a little bit of this and add some of my stuff and kind of enhance what I was giving them or talking to them about.
Create more for their lesson. Yeah.
So,
and who knows, maybe they'll even want to set up a field trip or two to have a class
and
come
the
out.
other thing is talking about what we have, because we do have those 2 flight simulators, and having 2 and being in a fairly small location, that's why we are kind of limited in numbers.
Sure.
Because we can't effectively, handle 30 kids coming in there. We can handle 8, and we could occasionally handle 12.
Gotcha.
But
even
sometimes
bigger than that,
they've done that in the past where they'll bring out, say, 24 kids, and half of them will go over to the university and look at the nursing program or whatever, some other stuff, while half of them come to see us for 2.5 hours, and then they flip-flop.
I like that. That's
One time,
a great idea.
Brendel Middle School, I believe, did that, and they met halfway through and had sack lunches out on the front, out in the grass and stuff, and then they kind of like, okay, this group jump in the bus and go. We're going to go over to the university, and the other group come on in, and we'll.
It's perfect.
Do our little thing.
I think there should be more of those.
Yeah.
I think every week they should have one of those going on. That'd be great.
Okay, so then this thing on the wafbmuseum.org, you can click on education.
Okay.
And then that will list all these information. What right now we've got is the YouTubes. You can't click on the title, and it won't come up on the YouTube right now. However, when you get to the one page that has 38 videos of 12 hours of professional pilot training, you can click on those, and it'll come right up and start playing that particular sequence, whether it's flight instruments or flight weather or whatever the subject is on that. And then we had a 3-page thing that we got off a website. It's called 331 STEM careers, and you can click on those, and the student it'll expand that particular subject to a full page of stuff and several things you can go to.
Okay.
Goes into great detail, and that's based off of a website that we found and Juliana's got that set up. So when you find that, now when I say when you find that, I initially had a problem finding it, and then she kind of had to squirm me away on how to find it. But you have to, if you open up on the computer, there's usually on the right-hand side after you click education, there's 3 color photos of Bob Donnell mostly and myself. I think you get the back of my head on that. But working with the kids on their flight simulators. And right above that is a little section that you can click on, and it talks about STEM. So you click on that little box, and then you get all that stuff pops up.
Nice. Good deal. So of course, teachers, STEM want to check it out, but really anybody that it's got a hankering to want to learn some of this stuff, go to the www.wafbmuseum.org and then click on that education tab and check out some of these videos and all the stuff.
So then right there at the top on the right-hand side above those photos would be a block, another block that says comprehensive list of STEM jobs.
Okay.
And that's the one you click on. If you have your smartphone like I was using and I couldn't find it, you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of all that data that we put there, and at the very end, the bottom of the smartphone are those photos with that block of comprehensive list of STEM jobs. So that's where you find that.
So it's just a little different depending on which
arrangement, the way it
use
pops up on your computer. Right.
Good deal. But either way, it's all there. Come check it out when you get a chance, or if you're looking to, help inspire your kid to find some interests, maybe they'll find some through those videos.
And one of the things we have in there, and I know there's going to be people out there, that's why I put on here a partial list. It's as we passed out, it's 13 pages of STEM jobs in the Roswell area. And over a period of many days of going through 3 phone books, I found those and I just typed them up. So if you're a young student or somebody living in Roswell and saying, well, what's there to do in Roswell? Well, there's 13 pages of STEM jobs.
Is that enough for you?
STEM-oriented type jobs that you can find in the Roswell area. And now Artesia could add theirs, but I didn't go into Artesia stuff.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
But there's plenty in the region. That's
Plenty of jobs in the region, just to kind of give you an idea of what's out there. So,
well, shoot.
so
Let's face it, New Mexico's home to one of the most advanced places in the country, Los Alamos.
Yeah.
If you're looking to stay in the state of New Mexico, tech is kind of we do have the space. What is it? The Virgin Galactic Space, whatever one out in Tier C.
Right.
We got New Mexico's middle of nowhere desert, but a lot of technology taking place here too. So.
Yeah, I was just finished reading a couple of books. One was, and I recommended to the audience out there, if you're interested at all in World War II, Countdown 1945. That was with Chris Wallace. It was a #1 bestseller. It just came out. It was copyrighted 2020. And that is really the easy-to-read book. Bob Donnell read it and said, this is one of the best books I've ever read. So I ordered it the same day and came in, and sure enough, it was really good. And I just loaned it to my barber because he reads a lot of books. Old Dwayne up there north, just on the north side of Office Max.
And the book's called 1945.
Countdown 1945.
Okay.
And it starts out like 116 days, blah, blah, blah. Then it goes down, like 92 days. It starts out the first page is when Truman finds out that Roosevelt died.
Gotcha.
And he got called to the White House. He goes, I guess what's that mean? I only had 2 meetings with him since I came into, he came into office several months ago. And
that's what
he finds out like, I'm not having a meeting with him. I'm now the president of the United States,
And then shortly thereafter, he learns about the Manhattan Project.
Yeah, he learns about that. Yeah. And he talks about all the serious decision-making going into whether or not to use the atomic bomb or not.
Mm-hmm.
And the trade-off of, doing that. It was already pretty tough on the Japanese as far as the firebombing and stuff, but realizing how many casualties the Americans would suffer and how many casualties the Japanese would suffer over a period of an invasion of the homeland of Japan. So
well, and we knew that Japan, they've got a kind of a never surrender, never quit mentality. Which means
they were training the kids with sharp, long sticks to.
Yeah.
They were just training everybody to fight to the end.
And I know this doesn't sound right, but because of the decisions made by Truman to drop those 2 atom bombs, it saved thousands of lives.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to kind of wrap your head around that,
but you get from this book, it
did.
wasn't easy for Truman and for even other people. And a lot of the scientists had a lot of concerns about it.
Sure. Yeah, there was. This was a big. I've read enough of that area to know that it was a lot of thought and decision making before they ultimately did what they did. It wasn't just something all right, let's light them up. It was a lot of thought and studying the consequences and everything else.
Yeah, I'm just kind of finishing up the last few pages of the Enola Gay, which is a book. This particular one was copyrighted back in 1977, but it's also very interesting in some of the details and stuff going on with that. So,
always wonder, because there's probably several different books on the Enola Gay and the crew and things, and I wonder if as they get newer, do they get more information, or is it rehashing a lot of the same info, or
just rearranging the way they present it.
Well, I imagine is I don't know if there's anybody still alive that's left from that era, but I imagine there's a few as they get closer to end of life. They're sharing
there's a few, but
sharing
not
some details and things that they didn't share previously. So
speaking of the museum, thanks to Bob Donnell's idea, and he said we have on the south wall of our museum there, and again, we're located in the air terminal about 50 feet north of the TSA check-in area.
Yes.
So we're right there, and right there close to the little food court area.
You can't miss if you go through the main entrance, which is the middle. Yeah. You can't miss it.
We're
but
right
if you come from either end, you got to kind of walk towards the middle there.
That's right. Yeah. But anyway, Bob, we have that reinforced concrete on the south wall, and trying to hang a picture with reinforced concrete is kind of tough. Anyway,
I understand. Well, you should see this wall right here.
Yeah,
used to be the exterior wall of the J.P. White building. This is a red brick wall, and we found that out when we tried to drill in to hang these TVs. And it was not easy.
So what?
That's how we found out.
So out of the good graces of Steve Griffin, who, by the way, Steve had donated and mounted a whole bunch of professional weather equipment we have in there, because he was a long time in the military Navy weather guy, but he has a lot of the professional weather equipment there, and with a lot of little signs that describe what it is and stuff. But anyway, Steve came in, and Jim Williams, and they had a little gun. They used an actual .22 caliber bullet to fire nails into the reinforced concrete.
Wow.
So we let the TSA and the security folks know that if you hear some gunshots going off, don't call, shots fired, and whatever. But
nothing to alarm you here.
so anyway, they got a nice frame put up, and we got 5 4x8 pegboards, and we mounted that on that wall.
Oh, wow.
Now we can just, with little hooks, we can move pictures around all the way we want to, and we got a nice print that's signed by Tibbetts, the pilot of the
cool.
Enola Gay. Enola Gay was his mother's name.
Mm-hmm.
But and right underneath that is the actual navigator's log of the Hiroshima mission.
Oh, wow.
So if you're some guy comes in, he's a former navigator, go, oh, look at that, and then we've got another thing that Bob Donnell just got framed. It's a weather picture that we're going to fly some, I think it was B-29s leaving Roswell in 47, and they were going to fly over New York City, Washington, D.C. and stuff, and then fly back.
Okay.
But it has this drawing all the way across of leaving Roswell and what all the high weather clouds, the drawings of the weather and stuff, of kind of like, oh, that's how they did that. It showed that, okay, when you get over Kansas City, this is what the clouds are going to be like, So anyway.
I wonder how accurate those were.
I don't know.
Like, how many of those did they actually could follow and it would make sense? Or
Yeah, I don't know.
It was wrong there. No, it ain't right there either. So.
No, they got these clouds and they're over here. Actually. Yeah. That's true. So anyway, we've got some of that stuff mounted. We got a lot of new pictures kind of hung up there, so it's still nicer. And again, thanks to Steve Griffin and Jim Williams
cool
coming out
pieces
there.
of history there that are now on display.
Yeah, and Jenna, the Landfor, the facility manager out there, she was happy with what we put up, and we put trim on it and everything, made it look really professional. So
cool.
They did a great job.
So next time you're out, you can please take a visit for that. If you're going out for lunch or got a flight or something, check those out while you're out there.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Good deal. Excellent. What else we got?
I talked to our old former president, Brigadier General Doug Murray. He reminded me, and I kind of like, oh, you're right. But he said, I want to remain a member of the board, but I'm in absentia. He's living now in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, I knew he moved out after retired. He moved out of the area. So.
And he was telling me this great story he had. He said a gentleman that lived about 2 doors down from him just passed away. He was 98 years old, but he said he wasn't using a walker, a really sharp guy, talking to him, and he came in the Air Force in 1940 and got out in 1971.
Oh, wow.
And he flew the B-17, B-29, B-36, and B-52s.
Wow.
And then later on in his career, he ended up being selected to go and help oversee the Minuteman missile program.
Oh, wow.
So he was.
So he did a lot in his 30 years of.
Why he ended up as a brigadier general, retired, but himself, and he was talking about various things about Walker. And oh yeah, I was at Walker. So he was at Walker, and he said, well, I used to, be the dean of academics at NIMI, and he says, oh, my son graduated from NIMI, and blah blah blah, and his son was there. He met him.
Small world, huh?
Small world, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
anyway,
pretty neat.
So anyway, and he just sent us a nice check. He's sending us a check to help, keep,
So he's still
keep the
supporting
doors open. Yeah,
He's still supporting it from his home in Colorado.
a couple $1,000. So that was great.
Yeah, that's very nice of him, and just shows his, why he's well admired, and why. Well, to be honest, his leadership is part of the reason we have the Walker Aviation Museum still today.
And one of the reasons that we get to pay the rent, I don't have Jenna Landfor banging on my door saying, "Where's the money? Where's the money?" Just thanks to Pioneer Bank.
He got the super off your back.
Yeah, Pioneer Bank, Featherstone Development Corporation, Glenn Furniture's giving us some tables and stuff. 6 Bomb Wing Reunion Group, David Petroleum Company, and now Brigadier General Murray. And last year, and we're still working on stuff, Roswell Toyota and XL Energy and Aircell and other individual doctors and stuff in town have really been generous. So we really appreciate.
And if you'd like to support the Walker Aviation Museum, there's always, if you go to the website, wafbmuseum.org, you'll find a donate now there and ways to contribute that way. If you want to serve in a more physical capacity, like serve on the board or, maybe even volunteer to be a docent from time to time or help out that way, you'll find the information to reach out and who to talk to there at the website as well. But I know always looking for some fresh faces to come and come be a part of the continuing of growing and nurturing the museum there. So.
Speaking of fresh faces, but I don't know if I'd exactly describe him as fresh face.
Fresh-ish.
It's Ted Smith. He was in here.
Oh, yeah, Ted's a great guy.
Yeah, Ted will probably, he may be in here next month, my place, but he is a walking Energizer bunny when it comes to history of military.
He loves it.
Oh,
yeah.
man, he loves that. He just kind of lives that. So right now, he's doing most of the volunteering out at the museum, that 2.5 hours, but I'm usually out there on Friday and Saturdays and other time during the week. And then Bob Donnell's out there a day or two or three. And we try to meet out there, all three of us, at least one day a week so we can kind of get our notes together.
Sure.
But so he's out there and he's deeply involved in right now on working a lot of the history of Walker Air Force Base, Roswell Army Airfield, whatever. And the missions that were assigned here, the aircraft that were assigned here. He's going through right now all the accidents and the aircraft and all kinds of stuff. Like,
cool.
How did that end up here? So he's really trying to get in and hopefully get that organized where we can put it out so that people can kind of get a snapshot picture of really what went on, especially back in the World War II period when Walker was training. He ended up, during that period, trained about 14,000 advanced pilot training with the double 2-engine aircraft and the bombardiers.
Oh, wow.
So that's why we have a few concrete bombs laying around that were dropped, people found around on the ranches.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's
those
what,
inert, I did a lot with those back in my days in the military.
Yeah, okay.
I was a bomb loader. I dealt with those concrete things a lot. So I touched them all the time. We used to make fun of the guys that made them.
Speaking of that, if you read these books on the Enola Gay and this other one, these guys in 509th, they came out of Wendover, Utah. And a lot of people felt like, I thought the planes that dropped the bombs on, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Kokura was the primary target, but ended up being Nagasaki. But they came out of Wendover, and from Wendover to Tinian. And then when the war was over, the aircraft returned after the training was stopped here in Roswell and came back here, and this became a bomber base.
Huh?
So it wasn't like, those planes came from Roswell. No, they returned to Roswell, but they initially came out of Wendover, Utah.
Sure.
And then from there to Tinian.
A lot have been here, but didn't live here.
And there's a lot of last-minute fighting going on, and these books will expand on that. General LeMay, everybody knows who General LeMay was in SAC and stuff later on, but he was kind of convinced, as well as other people, that the atomic bomb should be dropped by the people that were already there in Tinian, not the 509th that came out of Wendover. And those planes were handpicked by Tibbets at the factory, and then at that point they were turned into what they call the silver plate aircraft. And he found out that when he was doing some testing that they were trying to maneuver, and he would go up against a bunch of P-47 fighters, and those fighters could outmaneuver him and stuff. But when they took 7,000 pounds of all the guns and ammunition out except for the tail gunner, that the plane could get up above 30,000 feet, and at that altitude he could outmaneuver the P-47 fighters.
Oh, wow.
So they decided to be safer. They're just going ahead and fly and try to drop the bombs above 30,000 feet. Now, also, if they're trying to drop the atomic bomb and it was set to go off at 1,860 feet above the ground, they would make a hard turn and pull a few G's on the aircraft. But anyway, they would
get out of the
try
way.
to get out of the way, and they
Yeah.
needed to be at least 9 miles away before the bomb went off at almost 2,000 feet above the ground.
Okay.
So, because of the shock, they didn't know for sure what that was going to happen. The one on Hiroshima, that particular type and design of atomic bomb had never been tested. The one on Nagasaki was the same one tested north of Alamogordo out in the desert.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
So
but anyway,
they were literally flying blind on that one. They're like, hopefully these numbers will compute, and
Yeah.
if not, I guess we're crispy critters.
so Tibbetts was really fighting kind of with the folks there, and then they wanted to go ahead and get that finalized. So he took the operations officer up in the aircraft, and they went through a mission where they dropped the bomb and made the hard turns. And he was back there kind of pulling G's and like, holy crap. Excuse me, holy Toledo.
Yeah.
But, this was a bad situation. So
This situation at work.
he said, okay, because General LeMay said, go ahead and get on the airplane and just go on a test flight with him and you'll see. And because LeMay wasn't totally convinced either. And when he came back, he said, definitely let Tibbetts and the 509 take care of this mission.
Got it.
So
they kind of had to prove their point
Yeah.
to the brass, and did so.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know, I know just bomber related stuff. It was, since we're talking that history, you know, they, like you said, they released to the public the B-21 Raider just here over the weekend, and of course that Raider is named after the Doolittle Raiders. If for folks that aren't familiar, you know, after
okay,
Pearl
I missed
Harbor.
that on the news because I heard
Yeah.
something about Doolittle. I said, what's that have to do
Yeah,
with that?
it's the plane is named after
After
the
the Raider,
Doolittle
okay.
Raiders. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it's all named after. Which they basically got and took off on bombers from aircraft carriers and stripped down for one run over Tokyo, and it was quite an amazing little feat that they pulled off. But anyway, it was all World War II history, kind of in that same era, which you're talking about with the bomb here. So.
Now, the reason I kind of brought up that one story about the operations officer there at Tinian getting on that airplane and Tibbetts taking him up, that gentleman's name was Colonel William Butch Blanchard.
Okay.
He was the same one that was here at Walker as the wing commander when the 1947 incident occurred.
Ah, okay.
And he's the first one that said, oh, that was a flying disc or something. So that's the connection to Roswell and to Walker.
Nice.
Because after that was over with at Tinian, he came back here as you know, like if you couldn't defeat him when you were fighting him off at Tinian, he came back here to become the wing commander of the 509.
Gotcha.
You know, so anyway, it was
Pretty cool.
Kind of an interesting connection there.
Yeah, it is. It is. So please, if you'd like to learn more about this stuff, love talking, and come out to the museum. That's the great thing too, is all three of you guys will sit and talk, you know, stories about that stuff.
Yeah.
With people while they're there, if they're asking questions about, you know, some of the World War II roles and things. All three of you guys will love to sit down and talk that stuff with folks too.
Yeah,
So.
and Ted was in several things with CE, with other stuff. He was in intelligence and all kinds of stuff. He started talking about tanks, and like he studied Army intelligence on how to deal with Russian tanks and or
Yeah,
whatever. You know,
he did a lot of
he
things.
knows
that-
all kinds of stuff.
He did a lot of things that some of us circles didn't get to be.
Every time
privy
he
to.
starts talking, I just start taking notes. Like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a very interesting guy, and to be honest, it's great for him too. Because,
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't want to get too personal with him, but he's dealing with some issues from his time in the military.
That's right.
And things.
No, he is.
And by him doing this stuff, it's very helpful to him.
Oh,
So-
you know, I say thanks, Ted, for coming out and doing it. He says, no, thank you.
Yeah, Ted.
Because he
Ted-
said, I really enjoy coming
Ted,
out here.
it really gives Ted, he loves this stuff, and it gets him a sense of purpose. And so, please, when you're out there and you see Ted, talk to him, reach out. He'd love to tell you stories and give you some information about that. That's it's his passion, and you'll love it, and you're doing him a favor too. So please ask him that stuff. Loves that stuff.
So anyway, I guess basically WFBmuseum.org. Check that out, the education blocks.
Yeah.
Also, there's a click on history. You can You go in and show you a bunch of different history and different organizations.
Yeah,
there.
and if you got a youth group or something, like you said,
absolutely.
usually about 9 to 12 kids is probably we can. If it's bigger, we'll figure something out. But if you're interested in setting up something like that, reach out to the museum. Love to have that opportunity happen. If you've got a group of youth or anybody that's want to learn more about STEM or history or any of that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, because part of our program when they come out and see us, we show them how to make a Venn diagram, and then careers in aviation, and Roswell Aviation Maintenance Technician Program with Eastern New Mexico University, that, and a day in the life of a wind turbine engineer, Crumlin Auto Group and the Auto Mechanic Program, energy engine careers and oil well worker careers. What does a registered nurse do? And then some U.S. Air Force recruiting videos, aerospace ground equipment, air traffic control, and electronic principles, and geospatial intelligence. And then the last one we show is all the science STEM type jobs, and it's titled "The Day in the Life at CIA."
Nice. So if you get a little bit of insight on other things, not
that's right,
related but not necessarily connected.
And you can find all those on the website, and you can look those up on YouTube. We'll get them eventually where you can click on them and it'll play right directly. But you can look them up and put them in the search for YouTube, and you can play those yourself.
Yep, WAFBmuseum.org
right
is the website. And come see the new...
oh, by the way, we got a new jacket.
Oh, cool.
Somebody sent us a baseball jacket. He was a farm team for the Chicago Cubs, I believe, as a pitcher.
Okay.
But he was stationed here as I think he was a sergeant, staff
wow.
sergeant. And he was a pitcher, and it's a jacket showing... the Walker Bombers were the champions of the 8th Air Force tournament.
Oh, cool.
And it's a really beautiful blue jacket with a big giant patch on it that says 1954 Walker Bombers, championship thing.
Nice.
So
that's cool.
This guy, his dad had that jacket. And
I don't think there's too many of those laying around, I'm guessing.
I don't think so. And that draws in a few people. They go, wow, where's that jacket come from?
Yeah, that's cool. So come see some of the new stuff. And
our new pegboard with all the pictures hanging on it.
Yeah, check out the new digs. Like I said, they'll open about 11:30 this morning till about 11:30 till about 1 or
about
so.
2 o'clock.
1, 2 o'clock here this afternoon.
About 2 o'clock.
So, yeah, come on out, and then that's kind of the schedule there. So
that's
for
kind
now.
of the schedule right now.
Perfect. Well, as always, appreciate the visit, and we'll see you here next time. And if I don't see you before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, same to you.
Hopefully, hopefully we'll see you then before between.
Or maybe you'll see Ted. I don't know.
That's true too.
Well, no, that's not Ted. You're right.
Ted will be in January.
It'll be January 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah. So Merry Christmas to everybody. If I don't see you between now and then,
you too.
And come see the museum. Come check out this great treasure we have right here in our own backyard. So
that's right.
Good deal. We'll see you next time.
All right.